Hey guys, welcome to yet another episode of MOSHBITS. Now, today is actually the 1st of October when I'm recording this, which means now we have officially entered the month of Techtober, which also means that we're presumably going to be getting a lot of product announcements. And speaking of that, why don't we jump into our first topic and discuss about what Twitch has announced, I think, yesterday? Yeah, that's not really important because they're bringing a new service called Soundtrack by Twitch, which is going to give you access to rights cleared music, which essentially means that you can play this music without having to worry about your stream archives being muted, or most importantly, you won't have to worry about getting a copyright strike. Now, this is really important for new streamers and also for pretty much every other content creator that is not actually up to speed whenever it comes down to copyright laws being either being the DMCA or Buma Stemra in the Netherlands, or Orda in Romania, and Gemma, I think it was, in Germany. If you're not up to speed with those things, I think you are going to be really happy to know that if you're going to be using those things in your streams, then you're not gonna have to worry at all about those things. Now, the music that I'm using on YouTube is actually from another fellow YouTuber called Harris Heller. He also obviously streams on Twitch, I think under the same name, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't know why I'm promoting his channel, but nevertheless, that's what I've come to do at this point. He's also on YouTube under the channel name Alpha Gaming, now that I've started talking about him. But turning back to my point, I think this is a really nice and really cool thing that Twitch has done for its creators. Now, I'm really excited that they've partnered with quite some big companies, those being DistroKid and SoundCloud and a lot more others. But the two companies that I'm really excited about are actually Season of Mist and Nuclear Blast Records. And if you're a metalhead like me, then you probably know why I'm excited about those things. Now, long story short, Soundtrack by Twitch is going to be available really soon, and you can actually join the waiting list if you want to give them feedback and actually experience it yourself. Links to that are going to be in the video description down below, as well as an FAQ, because sorry, but I don't work for Twitch, so I don't have all the answers. Now, let's shift gears a little bit and go to another subject that I actually talked about in yesterday's video, which is going to be linked somewhere around here. Now, this topic was with regards to crunching and CDPR, and it was and I only touched on it a little bit at the end, and I made like a little joke about crunching. Obviously, I don't condone crunching, and you shouldn't think about it as a joke, because it's not. It's still people working over hours. But what I wanted to say about that is that CDPR is a European company. They're actually based in Poland, if you didn't know. And whenever it comes down to European laws, they're very different to those that you have in the United States if you're from there. I was talking more in the general sense, but I digress. I wanted to make a point that in Europe, they're most probably going to get paid for their over hours, for their extra hours. That's what I was actually trying to say. So I wouldn't be really worried about that. Actually, there's a cool video that I watched yesterday from another fellow YouTuber called Last Known Meal. I'm probably going to be linking it somewhere around here, because I don't know how many videos I already said that I'm going to be linking around here, but I know that YouTube only allows up to 5, and if it's not going to be up there, it's probably going to be in the video description down below. Now, what else did I want to say about it? Oh yeah, the big news, because that's why I'm covering this, is also that CDPR has just announced that 10% from their annual revenue that they're going to be making from all of their sales, those being from GOG as well, I would assume, from whatever sales they're still making from The Witcher 3, and also most importantly, the sales generated by Cyberpunk 2077. This 10%, this 10% of the revenue that they're going to be generating this year is going to actually be split among developers. Now, obviously, CDPR is a team that has a bunch of developers. I think in the article that I read from Derek from Tweaktown, he mentioned they have over 1,000 developers, but nevertheless, I think that's still really important that they're going to be paying the people that they're working on this beautiful game. I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but as a somewhat of a fan of this beautiful game that I have right here, The Witcher, I'm expecting a lot of good things from CDPR. Now, what I wanted to say is that I'm also going to be linking either in the video description below or here to a video that an ex-employee has made about working at CDPR, the working environment over there, some projects that they're still having in the works and everything else. And I really think that you should be watching those videos as well before you make before you get your opinion already made up about crunching and about CDPR as a company, because like I said, it's very different whenever you're looking at a European company and somewhat smaller than what Activision is doing in the United States as a giant company that they are. But with that being said, I'm switching now to another topic that I wanted to talk about, which is yet another announcement, thus being the Pixel 5. They actually presented that at yesterday's event, which I covered with Martin on our crowd Discord server. Links to that are obviously going to be in the video description. This kind of sounds like the only thing I can say in this video at this point, doesn't it? With regards to the release of the Pixel 5, it actually has a Snapdragon 765G processor with a 6-inch OLED 90Hz panel, which sounds all cool, and it also has a 4080 milliamp hour battery going for $699 and €629 respectively. That sounds all good, but I think the better part about it is that it actually costs 629 euros instead of 699 euros. But again, you're thinking about it, it only has a mid-range processor, this being the 765G. It still has a plastic back, and hey guys, Editing Alex here. I'm here to tell you that the other Alex was wrong about the Google Pixel 5. It's actually not made out of plastic, and instead Google is using a material called bioresin, which is still technically super thin plastic, but it also has an aluminium construction, which is quite interesting, knowing that it still supports wireless charging, which technically shouldn't be possible, but Google find a way around it, and I guess that's quite cool, eh? I mean, I'll put some links in the description if you want to read about it, so enjoy that. And I wanted to also say that the Google speaker he is going to be referring to at a later point in this video is actually called the Nest Audio and not the Nest Hub as Video Alex called it. He clearly doesn't know anything about tech at this point, and you know what, I'll actually let him know how disappointed you are about that. But either way, back to the video. I don't know, it sounds a bit crazy when you think about it, because you can also get for the same money the S20 Fan Edition. I wanted to say Founders Edition. I keep talking about NVIDIA because most probably because I've made so many videos about them at this point on this channel. And no, I won't say what I wanted to say, but go there if you want to watch those videos. I actually wanted to know what you guys think about this in the year 2020 when we were so used to glass back phones. What do you think about this whole change to plastic back phones? Because it sounds a bit crazy to me. Now, Google has also obviously announced some other events, and I think this was also what made the Google Pixel 5 launch a bit underwhelming, that they only showcased it a bit at the end and didn't give that many details about it, because before that they had those presentations with old influencers, and I use the word old not in the sense that they're 60 or 70, more in the sense that I think they used to be famous 5, 6, 7 years ago, or maybe more, like a decade ago if we're talking about Selena Gomez. But they also had Mac Lethal do an ad for them, which, yeah, I don't know if he's really famous anymore at this point. I know I used to watch his channel, but again, that's besides the point. They presented the Google Chromecast, a new edition. I'm also gonna be talking about that in quite a while, but I think they really had a really wacky presentation for their Google Nest Hub. This being their speaker, and I hope I didn't say some other name for it, because I actually didn't get this as a news for it, but I'm trying to remember what I saw at yesterday's event. Now, that one was also not that great because they didn't really show the real power of the device. They had these two people talk about the kind of music that they like, and I get the whole idea that they made it look more like an experience, and that you're presumably going to get the best music fidelity whenever you listen to it. But then again, that was really underwhelming for me for whatever reason. I think it was just the way they presented it. And obviously they also showed that you can pair them. Like I think they had more than 6 of them being paired within a house. And the joke that I made during the live stream was that, yeah, this looks a lot like my house because I don't have any walls either. And obviously I was talking about this because you can see a wall now that I realize. But yeah, the point I was trying to make is that I don't have any walls in my videos as well. But yeah, now that's besides the point. Really underwhelming wall launch. I don't know what else to say about it, because I feel that I'm starting to rumble more than present some news right here. But I guess this is what I'm trying to do now with those episodes, trying to experiment and see whatever you guys like. So if you like the whole ramble that I did about the whole Google launch event that was yesterday in this video, then let me know in the comments down below. Now I'm going to be moving to another subject, but I'm probably gonna have to cut, or my camera is gonna cut really soon, because I see that it's almost 12 minutes and that's when it usually stops. So let's do a cut and be back with the other news topics. Be right back. And we're actually back, and guess what? Now it's time to talk about the nibbles of the day, and with regards to that, I'm probably gonna have to make them a bit longer this time around, although I intended to make them really short and clean cut and end this episode so it's still within the 10-15 margins mark, but I guess that's not going to happen today. But either way, let's just talk about Returnal, which is an upcoming PS5 game that was initially presented during a Sony event. I think this was actually not their last one, but 2 presentations ago, because Sony had so many events for their PS5 where they took so much time before they actually showcased it and before they actually announced the price for it. I guess they were waiting on Microsoft to just show their cards and see whatever the hell they want to do. But with regards to this game, I think it looks really amazing. I've actually had a look at the character model, the weapons models, and the whole environment, and it like everything looks so frigging nice, and I'm really excited to try it out if I'm actually gonna get a PS5 myself. But the bigger picture of it is that I hope that those are not just the screenshots that look really beautiful, and that the game is going to look like utter crap, because we've seen this done before, including for this beautiful game, which is still beautiful. But I wanted to say that at E3 we had a very nice trailer and a very nice demo gameplay for it, and the same goes for another launch title that I really like, that was announced at E3, this one being Watch Dogs 1. Whenever that came out, it didn't look that great as it looked during E3. But yeah, I think if we're talking about games, we should also be talking about Call of Duty Zombies, which got its official teaser trailer yesterday. And judging by the amount of likes on this video and the like to dislike ratio, I think people actually enjoyed it. And now that I think about it, because in the beginning or in yesterday's video, which again should be around here, I was talking about how I'm not really into zombie games, and also not into, especially not into Call of Duty Zombies and game mode that they're doing. When I'm thinking about it right now, I remember playing a bit. I think this was like 2 Call of Duty games ago when I was playing. Yeah, I think this was Black Ops 4 when I was playing with my friends, and I actually had a lot of fun because what those games are mostly for me, they're like mindless fun games, which I think is kind of what you want at a LAN party. Whenever you're meeting with your friends, you want some kind of a game where you can do a lot of looting, shooting, and tooting, I guess. But yeah, I don't know what more to say about the game. I wouldn't say excited to try it out, but I guess I would play it if I could get my hands on it. I don't think it's going to be sold separately. I think it's actually going to be bundled with Call of Duty Cold War. But if I'm not correct, then I assume that you guys are going to be able to correct me in the comment section down below. And here's how I'm fostering more comments from you. I guess this is big brain time right now. But yeah, I don't know why I wanted to make a segue and say that, speaking of big brain, but no, this has nothing to do with big brain, unless you want to put a really big headset on your head. See, I got you over there. No, but we're talking about the HP G2, but not actually about the normal version of the headset. Instead, we're actually going to be talking about the Reverb G2 OMNICEPT. Yeah, that's the OMNICEPT edition. I was just reading off my script right now. This is actually targeted towards businesses and developers. So unless you're one of them, then I don't think you're actually going to be able to get your hands on it. I actually haven't read into how they plan to sell this, but they might only, like I said, sell it to businesses and developers. But nevertheless, the big news about it is that it is actually going to have that sounded really weird. It's going to have eye tracking, so pupil movements. There, it's going to scan for your pupil movements, and also for your mouth movements. And this sounds really cool to me because I can see some very practical uses for either for schools or for researchers or for medical bodies, which are going to be using it in a plethora of applications, because this new headset is also going to support Tobii eye tracking, and I think I'm saying that correctly. It's either Tobii or Tobai, I guess. I don't really know, but I think it's Tobii in this sense. And speaking of that, I think you know what I'm referring to. If you've been on YouTube, you've probably seen PewDiePie's video on it, and I think Linus also has a video on it. But with regards to the PewDiePie video, you can get a good laugh out of it. I'm not going to say what kind of videos he was looking at, because I don't think I'm actually allowed to say that word, and I might get well, not demonetized, because I'm not monetized on YouTube, but that's besides the point. I just wanted to say that he was looking at girls that also stream on Twitch, and you could probably make out the word that I'm referring to. Nevertheless, Tobii has actually been implemented in quite a lot of games, and I think it was actually used in, if I don't know for sure, but it might have also been implemented in Assassin's Creed games, but I think that's also besides the point. What I wanted to say about it is that it looks really interesting, and I really wish that this would also be available to normal consumers. But I'm still waiting to see what developers and businesses are going to do with it, because I can see a lot of applications and really interesting games that can also be made for it. I think their whole plan and idea for it is also to be able to offer some avatars that look a lot like human beings, and I guess, help treat some patients that either suffer from some problems. I guess you could also treat people that have dementia and Alzheimer's and what have you. Well, I hope you don't have them, but you know how the saying goes. I think that that could be really interesting because you're actually, or if you are a business in this case, I think this is like a better and more wholesome presentation of it. Whenever you're meeting with someone or someone's avatar in this case, it will look more lifelike. In this case, it's going to give it more life in this case, and it's going to be a lot more interesting to talk to a character that also moves his mouth whenever he speaks like like this. I don't think that was my my best portrayal of it, but you get the idea. I'm really excited for this, and I hope that HP or any other company is actually going to bring this to the market for consumers as well, because I know I would buy it. So yeah, HP or any other company, if you want to get my money, then yeah, just release it to normal consumers. Now, something, because you've probably seen me go really close to the camera at this point, I was just trying to remember what my next topic for the day was. And the next one is apparently going to be the RTX 3060 Ti, which is also something that I'm really excited about, despite being really interested in getting myself a 3070. But with regards to the 3060, Gigabyte has just registered its 4 cards with the EEC, this being the Eurasian Economic Commission. Yes, I actually didn't write that on my script. It just says EEC. But what I wanted to say is that we actually had a look at the naming scheme for them, and we've seen that they're launching the 3060 Ti, and this should presumably happen sometime in October, also when the 3070 should also be launching. That's on the 15th of October, somewhere around 3 p.m. Central East European time. Sorry for that. Now, the cards should sport a, should also have a, what did I want to say? Well, the cards should have 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, which is going to be running at 14 gigabytes per second, and this is going to be done on a 256 bus, if I remember correctly. But the more important news about it is that it won't take more than 200 watts of power. So if you have a 3600X or 3600, like the normal version from AMD, then it also means that you're not gonna have to worry that much about your power supply. So you can just get yourself a 500 watts, 550 or 600 watts if you want to upgrade further down the line to a 3070, which, yeah, it's really interesting, and it gives you a lot of possibilities in this case. I wanted to say this again because I know I already mentioned in a previous video that the 3060 Ti should offer pretty much the same performance that the 2080 from the last generation has offered, and if it comes at a really good price point, then I think this is something to be really excited about. And the last news topic for today that I think you might be excited about is actually the new Spider-Man remake. And with regards to that, is coming to the PS5, obviously. Well, sorry for that, but hey, you know, at least I'm back. This is due to my old 600D camera that I have from Canon, and if you're from the States, this is the T3i model, and it really has a problem with some memory cards, I guess. That's at least what I was reading about it, and it cuts the recording every time it hits like 10, 11, 12 minutes, so yeah, it is what it is. But what was I talking about? I think I was telling you about Spider-Man and the Spider-Man remaster on PS5, and that you should technically be excited about that, although judging by the like to dislike ratio that it got on YouTube, I don't think people are really excited about that, but it might also be because they actually changed how Spider-Man and Peter Parker, how he looks, because Spider-Man has the same costume, obviously. But like I was saying, they changed how Peter Parker looks like in the game. And I guess some people are also saying that he looks a lot like Tom Holland, but I wouldn't say so. I was actually reading a comment that he looks a lot more like Shawn Mendes than Tom Holland in this remake, but I guess you see whatever you want to see. What I actually saw in the trailer was something really interesting that quality-wise, it looked really interesting. And with regards to that, Sony has announced that it is going to be able to run at 60 frames per second with ray tracing on the PS5. And this is something that I'm more excited about than however the character, Peter Parker in this case, looks like, because I don't really care. I don't think that's really that important. And with that being said, those were the news for today. I know this was a bit of a slower episode, but also longer because of that. But I was trying something new, and I wanted to see if you guys enjoy this format. I think this actually went a little bit better for myself, because I'm actually recording this not for the first time, because I need to do some checks, because I have this camera, that it's really annoying. But you know what? I'm not going to bother you with how many times I recorded this. It's way less than I was doing for the previous videos that I launched. And I'm going to be linking the playlist of all the MOSHBITS episodes if you're interested in watching that. And speaking of linking things, in the video description, you're also going to be able to find all the links to the original articles together with their specific authors. And I think you know what's coming next. You should definitely check them out, because they're great, you're great too, and this is my outro, and I need to go now. Bye-bye!